Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Strong Women in IT webinar. Today, we are going to talk about women for women. So, how women support each other, how women can help the other grow. And to talk about this subject, we invited strong women in IT that will tell us more about how they support their friends, their colleagues, and friends in growing their personal life and in business. So, without further ado, please let me invite Isa from Microsoft. Hello, Isa.
Hello, everyone.
And Dorota from SAP. Hello, Dorota.
Hi, hello everyone.
Yes, so let's start with a short introduction. Isa, you are a senior customer experience program manager at Microsoft. Can you tell us more about your work? What are you doing? And of course, about your women chapter that you are running.
Yes, so I'm part of the Teams Engineering product group. So the product that some of you might be familiar with. So we are running on the hub for everyday communication, collaboration, and for the business processes. And part of this team is a CAPE, customer and partners, when we are actually working with the strategic customers and partners around the world to not only drive the strategic initiatives, but also bring this feedback back to the product. So we are driving the roadmap of this product in the right direction, and we are hearing our customers very well. And as you said, I'm also leading the Women chapter in Poland, Microsoft Women chapter, when we are also driving some initiatives for with women's, and for uh, dedicated for actually empower women.
Yes, and I hope that you will tell us more about, behind the scene, how you run it, what the challenges you face, but also the benefits from what women takes from this initiative. So, Dorota, you are Vice President, MidMarket Sales Director at Hub. So tell us more about your work. What are you doing, and how you see the perspective of women support women?
Well, as a sales director, I'm responsible for sales here in Poland to customize that, let's say, up to 500 million euro revenue. So I would say the core of the Polish economy, and those are fascinating companies. And in our sales department, we are responsible for identifying customers' need and addressing them with the right architecture, with the right solutions, providing the true business value. So it's a very challenging, but in the same time, very fascinating job. I have a team of sales experts, account executives, very feminized team. So I can say that I work with great women on a daily basis. And we also are supporting women as an organization, having Business Women Network, an organization that is very active and is organizing a lot of activities that are improving women's atmosphere or comfort of work here at SAP.
Thank you, Dorota. The idea of strong women in IT is on one hand to promote women at C-level, managerial, head position, to show them, because often we forget about telling about our successes, about our knowledge, because often we are too humble. But on the other hand, it was also to be a role model for others, to show and to create initiatives that are dedicated for women to let them grow. But because it is, I think, obvious for us, the place where we are here right now, what are you doing, is not by accident, is not by just your knowledge and your experience, but also, but I believe that also, but by people that let you grow, let you help with your helping with your family duties, with your career. Izabela, when you think about your past, do you have some people that help you be in the place where you are right now? Because we as a human, we are like puzzles. We have friends, business partners, mentors that let us be where we are, that trust us, that believe in us. Do you know, could you tell us who helped you with your career development? Because as I mentioned, I believe that we are not like a single islands that are just, here by accident.
Yes, sure. So when it's going about this more career opportunities, you are also mentioning the family, which also is really important for me. But mentioning more on the career opportunity, I believe for me, especially on the beginning, was very important because when I left my study, I studied informatics and engineering, and I actually was very strong with the algorithm, and I was very strong, with the mathematics. But I wasn't that much. I would say involved in the programming and doing the programs. And my first job, I got as a programmer, so getting this technical excellence for the first time, it was very important for me, and I've got a lot of support. And I need to say it was male dominant even more than now. Ecosystem, and I've got a lot of great mentors at that time. I started in Portugal, in the foreign country, with the foreign language, but they were very, very, very friendly to me. And they've actually teach me a lot, like, tips and tricks, how to do that, how to, find myself in the country itself, but also how to grow professionally. And after when I joined Microsoft in Poland already, I had the same kind of support when it's going about my current colleagues. And it was also like different kind of area. It was more like administrator, and it was more like technical role, but in the other space than I was working before. And I've got also a great mentor, and I believe this defined my path because without them I could resign from the IT, being honest. And they put a lot of confidence in me, and they were like just encouraging me that I'm going great job, and I can handle that. So without them on this beginning of the career, probably I wouldn't make it. And regarding, like progressing my career, I believe I needed a little bit different kind of help. I already knew that technology is changing, that my roles, responsibility are changing, and I was changing to the sales after to the customer success. But at the same time, the help that I needed was already on the different level. It was more how to grow my career more intentionally rather than actually, how to survive. That was more on the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Because on one hand, we promote women, but we have to remember that there are always men, often men behind our back, that support us, that help us with sometimes trusting us. As we mentioned, we work in male-dominated industry. Dorota, how was it in your case? Do you have such maybe names you can even mention right now? You are also invited if you can share the names of people who helped you. This is really good moment to thank them. But Dorota, can you tell us how your career grow? How you see from the now perspective, the past from the past perspective, how your career could grow with the help of others?
Well, first of all, I still have great parents, and I wanted to thank them for everything they did for me. And my mother was always very active. She was also active in politics, so she is a very strong woman. And my father is from the IT industry, and he always took me to work with him. So basically, I grew up without the stereotypes. So I knew that I can be also a strong woman, and IT was a natural environment for me from the very beginning. And when I was in my high school, I had like extended program of IT, and our teacher was a female. So in the early 90s, well, 90s, maybe not early, it was not that common to have, a female teaching how to program. So for
Yeah.
me, IT was never something that was male dominated. I found out on the later stage that this is a male domain. So I entered this world as self-confident young woman, and I also had very good people that believed on me, that noticed that I have some capabilities that can be developed and help me grow. Starting from my first job and my first managers, both male and female, Piotr Habior and Ula Omińska. Then through my work at different positions and different roles, I met both men and women that really helped me a lot. And first of all, they believed in me and they gave me a room to grow. That's the most important thing, to sometimes to challenge, sometimes to push, but always support, of course. I've heard about myself that I am demanding, so I'm not an easy employee. I'm not easy to manage, but I think this is something that really helped me grow. I mean, I'm never fully, I always expect something more. I always want to grow. I have this appetite, and a good manager can really give you the next opportunity, the next goal, so you can follow it.
Yeah, I think that also that when we are at a different stage of our lives, we need different mentors, different helps, and to be honest, I see that mentorship is something that strongly helped me, because this is something like a health in a nutshell. Because when I gave birth to a daughter, I was on one hand shocked, because now the my whole life was changed, and I needed to talk with different women who has their businesses, has children, and they are able to share their values, their trick and trips, how they manage all the time, all the things around them. And I believe that when we think about women network, women organization, it is always good to talk, to be able to relate, to find someone who did something where you would like to go. So Isa, this is the moment that you can tell us more about your women chapter. What are you talking about during this project? How you manage it? Is it online? Is it offline? What is the most, let's say, popular program that you are running?
Yeah, so regarding the women chapter, we are currently in the phase that we are want to rebuild the energy. I would say they were kind of the changes in the company that require a little bit different focus on the different areas. And currently we are rebuilding this, and we are thinking mostly about the programs external. So how we can give back to the community and how we can actually influence the women community for our customers and partners, and also internal, how we can empower also the women in our organization. And regarding, I would say, the broader perspective a little bit about this. So you were saying about the support system as well, support network. So I'm looking at this kind of the three circles, I would say. The first one is the broad one, which is my professional network. And then just how I show up, how I show my competences. It's also creating the supportive system. And I also got my jobs because of the recommendations in the past. And I believe that this kind of support broader system is really important. And then you mentioned about this programs for women, when you build more human to human deeper relationship, when they are the people that actually you want to more connect. And this is like woman chapter in Poland. I was also I was part of the program. I was invited to the program that was named Flow, Female Leaders on the Way, which was on the CE level. So women from the Central and Eastern Europe were part of the program for several months. When we were first, we were attending some of the workshops that were empowering us, showing our strength. Also, they were showing us some of the capabilities that we didn't know about, for example. So they were like kind of growing us. At the same time, we had the connection to the top executives when they were sharing their story very transparently and very truly, also showing that their careers, it was not always sweet. So this kind of connections is also showing you and it's empowering you, and you can build more human to human relationship. So I call it like more like my closer circle. And we are also want the program that you are probably mentioning, Empower Women. We also were trying to build with the few ladies from Poland this same kind of program for women, but outside of this, the goal was to build the latest technology capabilities for on the business side of our customers. So create the bridges between the IT and the business. And it was also about to create those kind of inner circles in their organization. So every company was represented by 5 women. And then in this Empower Women community cohort, I would say we also created this kind of supportive system for each other. And we wanted to create in their companies as well supportive system. But what is also important for me, kind of my closest support system, it's this my gang, kind of I would call it, which are both individuals that I know very well, but also the group of people. And there is also the special lady group that we can talk very transparently, we can share any thoughts, we don't always have to be crisp and clear what we want, but sometimes just only talking and like saying everything that we think, and we are very honest with each other, and this is the key here for building this trust, that we can count on the honest opinion. And always when I'm driving new project, when I want to change the job, when I whatever I want to do, like it's really important, I always value their opinions. And it's really important for me. And the older I am, I more value this my closest, I would say, this my gang.
That's super interesting. I don't know whether you know, but when you think about how women integrate, we integrate by talking. The more private this discussion are, the closest we become, because this is, from the evolutionary part, it was the way how we learn to trust each other. On the other hand, the way men integrate is by doing. So that's why sometimes I explain why women needs to talk to integrate, and all those events, all those meetups where we just talk, and that's all, is how we simply integrate and understand each other. And sometimes when you see a guy that they go for a beer, a coffee, and they just do everything else, like play billiards, they don't talk, they don't feel the need to take out all those emotions, things. They just need to spend their time together. So that's super interesting, as you mentioned, that you have this gang. I remember that a couple of years ago, I ran an initiative that was called Venusianki in Poland. We did it in five cities, 6 cities. And each year we had 105, 2,500 women. And there were different panels, etc. But the most important part for those women was networking. But this networking was, let's say, animated. It was not just talk. We did some games to let them open, to let them motivate them to talk, to share their feelings, to share some experience, because we sometimes were too humble, too shy to go to someone else they don't know and talk about their business. Dorota, how your company is doing? What's your company doing when it comes to women? How do you integrate women and let them, get to know each other?
Okay, so first of all, as I mentioned on the very beginning, we have an organization that's called Business Women Network, and it's really great, and it's providing lots of support for women in terms of how to handle the daily challenges that we all have, having different roles in our professional and in our private life. So, of course, every lady in our organization can join this group, be active in preparing the content and organizing different activities. But of course, this content is directed to not only to all the ladies in the company, but also to men, because they are also a very important part of our work. Without men's support, we will not achieve our goals that easily. So this organization works great. We have a very nice division here in Poland. But of course, we also do some support locally, maybe not in a structured way, but we really help each other, and we try to build a very supportive environment, especially focusing on mental health, as we have a very challenging job with a lot of stress here. And in the same time, we have our personal life that we need to balance. Therefore, we live in a flex world, what we call it here at SAP. So we have flex time of work, flex place to work, so we can balance between remote work and work from the office. We have very flexible working hours to better, to have this possibility to balance between work life and personal life, and handle all the activities also outside of work that we need to do. And this means that we are very engaged at work because we appreciate this style of work, and in the same time we can be there for our families, for our children, and for ourselves when we need to.
I will have a really tricky question for you. But because one thing that I see sometimes is challenge for us as women is that we postpone our growth to our to-do list. We think about our business, our duties at business, at the company. Later we think about children, home duties, etc. And with that, we postpone different possibility to grow. Let's say we are at the end of the list of our courses, additional workshops. How you and I see that many companies have struggle a bit with the participation, with the active participation of women in such a projects. On one hand, company is doing. When I hear you, exactly the same. As many initiative projects as possible to give the chances. But the problem is that women postpone, as I mentioned, neglect, see that there is not enough time for the personal development. How you convince women to join your project? What's in it for me? What's your way to present it, Dorota? How you invite women to join, to actively participate? Because I think that this problem, the problem is not the tools. The problem is time to join it, to be present.
I think it's not only the time, but also the self belief. When there is a new position open, there were even some research done that women think that she needs to fulfill all the requirements to apply for this job, and men, of course, statistically taken. They don't care if they fulfill all the requirements. I think like 80% is completely enough for them to apply. So what we need to do is to encourage women to try. I mean, raise your hand, show that you are open for a change, that you are open for a promotion. So that's one thing. And the other thing, when we have an open position, to actively search for women that could really take this role. At SAP, we now have KPI of 30% women on management positions. So it's not only 30% in general, this KPI we have already met. But when we are talking about management positions, there is this push from the organization that is also helping us because we need to actively look for women that could really fit to the position. And of course, we want to have good people on those positions, not average ones. So it also means that we need to encourage women to really grow and develop themselves. And I think that those kinds of programs can help women believe in themselves and crash this glass ceiling that we were talking about for the last decades.
Yeah, thank you. Isa, how does it look in Microsoft? How you encourage women to join, your projects, your initiative, to take as much as possible from your work?
Yeah, I would say that actually our women are very active in the program. So, for example, this Flow program, or like Women Chapter, or like other programs, like we have also some series of, talks with our leaders dedicated for women. One of the things, it was also in the past, it was kind of improvisation workshop. That's when somebody from theater came and just make with us, like in the office, the workshop of 20 people that actually were trying to do improvisation, kind of like going out of your comfort zone. But it was a lot of people that wanted to be in that workshop, and I'm talking about the woman. But apart from that, actually we are also having the same as Dorota mentioned. So we are having KPIs for women, both actually in general, but also on the management position, and we are transparent to the market. So we are publishing those reports to the market and showing our progress. And it's also something that we are talking a lot about, the inclusivity and diversity in our environment. So also in our teams, we are talking about it, and we are not only looking at this from the perspective of the woman, but also on the other minorities. So this is like a broader topic, but we are taking care of this topic a lot in our teams. And regarding, I wanted also to say that I believe you also mentioned that on the earlier stage, that we have also different stages of our life. And sometimes women just want to put more time or more attention to the private life, whatever, if this is like having child or like taking care of the parents, usually by the choice or just by the commitment, or like, just it happens. The women are taking more, I would say, in average, those kind of responsibilities. And I think that it's important also to say I'm feeling okay with that. So not regretting um, some of the opportunities, because at that point of my life I actually prioritized the other areas, just not punish myself for choosing the other things. And I believe this is also important to acknowledge what is important for me as a woman at that specific time for ourselves. And if I don't want to use this program because of imposter syndrome of doubts, that is the other thing. But because I want to prioritize something else, I believe we should feel also okay with that.
Yeah, I understand. But Isa, when you think about your project, you mentioned that Flow was so popular. Why was it so popular? What was something in it so special that women wanted to join? Because of the courses, because of the possibilities, because later they could simply get promoted?
It was actually creating the opportunity of for the leaders, and it was not only for the managerial position. It was because the leader, it's not always the manager, people manager. It's also creating the leader by the impact, but how you are showing up, how you are behaving. And I believe this is also very important to creating this kind of skills in ourselves. And I believe ladies here, um, also because of the backgrounds, how we are raised, sometimes like being polite and so on, not taking these opportunities. It's also important to grow the women in this area. And it was so popular because the agenda was like great, like meeting, 3 meetings each in every country. It was offline event, so
But
what you can.
what you were talking about during this meeting?
Okay, so we were also we were working our strength. We were working on some difficult situation, even some topics like sexual harassment at work. And this was the space that actually we opened up the most. And those were very, I would say, conversation, very open and related on trust. And I've learned a ton on those conversations. We were meeting our leaders, but they were also sharing with us very true stories. So, for example, the GMs of the region, the GMs of the countries, they were sharing the stories, not only how they succeed, something like the beauty parade, but also they were showing when they failed. So it also was showing that we are only humans, that it's not always that everything is going great and everything is just happening. And also we were learning about, for example, our strength, our some kind of the tools we were given, that to realize what we want to do, where we want to go, what is important for us, but also the community. I believe the power here in this program was also the community, knowing each other, and after being able to count on each other. And I have that several times that I could count on those girls, and I'm also supportive for those ladies, even if we are from the other countries, even if we are not working together every day by day. And this was creating this kind of bonds between us and community that I really appreciate. And we knew the feedback from the past. So I was on the second edition, and we also passed the feedback forward. So the third edition was also very, very occupied.
Okay, thank you. Dorota, when you think about women support women, what's the biggest mistake women do when it comes to support each other? Yeah,
Oh,
I know that may be difficult question.
tough question.
Yeah, but what's first come to your mind when you think the biggest mistake that when we support each other, what do we do?
I think what we need to remember is that even if we are all women, we have different priorities and different goals in our lives and different personal situation, and of course different capabilities. So the mistake that we can make is to say that the other women can have the same priorities or the same challenges or the same goals that we have, and it's not necessarily the truth. There are women who will sacrifice all their personal life for the career, and that's their choice. But there are also women who would always prioritize, I don't know, their children, their parents, or I don't know, their yoga classes over the over work, and we cannot put everyone into the same group. So when we want to really support other women or other people, we need to first understand what are their really needs and what are their goals to be able to give them the real support.
And what is your favorite way of supporting women? Because in my case, I prefer one-on-one calls, let's say, and masterminds. I'm a huge fan of masterminds when we talk about, certain subjects and we share different points of view. What's your favorite tool for supporting women?
Well, of course, one-to-ones are very important, and exchanging your views and exchanging your challenges, that's very important. I liked what Izabela said, that it's also important that we can see that other people also make mistakes. Sometimes they fail, but still they succeed in the very end. So I think it's important to share this experience, not only in the position leader to an employee, but also human to human. I think this is far more important. So. I'm also building a group in my team that is supporting each other. So it's not only my support that I'm trying to give to my team members, but also I want them to support each other. I think this is even stronger way of support because they can openly talk about everything. And of course, there are also other women in my environment that I'm trying to support by showing what are their advantages, what are their strong sides, what are the opportunities that they could possibly take, and of course, showing that struggling with some things, it's something really normal. That the imposter syndrome that we are often hearing about, this is something normal. That sometimes we feel that we are not good enough, that we are not strong enough, or we don't deserve for something. This feeling is normal, but it doesn't mean that we don't deserve it. It means that we still can be great. We still can achieve. We are the owners of our success, and of course, sometimes we feel that um, we are weaker, and that's also perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's strongly relate with me. So thank you, Dorota, for this. So Isa, what do you think is the biggest mistake when you think about women supporting women? What we are doing wrong in this field?
Oh my God! I actually, I'm maybe not the best, you know, person to answer this because I'm actually lucky enough to really meet amazing people on my journey, and both men and women. One of the things that definitely, and I wouldn't here differentiate between the men and the women, being honest. It's
Yeah,
just human beings for me, and it's just support human beings. But actually, one of the things that I believe it's something that sometimes show up more in the women's, like also Dorota was saying about this imposter syndrome and doubts in this in themselves. So encouraging the women to actually take this opportunity to do that, it's something that it's really important. And I have here a couple of points actually that I has also experienced in my life, and I believe that is really important. So if you see maybe younger women, maybe other women that actually doubt in herself if she's good on that position, remind her that this company hired her. That actually means that they saw potential in her, whatever it's already there, or actually they saw potential that she can grow to that position. So it's the first to realize that you are here, and it's not only your responsibility to doing great. Your company is also responsible to make you successful in your role. So this is the first point. The second point, I would say, it's also saying, because we are sometimes thinking, okay, I cannot show up on this conference, I don't know nothing, or whatever, this kind of thing. But first of all, the world is moving really fast today, and it's moving even faster. So it's not going to slow down, and like learning and failing, it's kind of written into that, so it's part of it. And like, even if you fail, just forget about it, go move forward, don't regret it. And this is also like really important, especially for the younger people, that they are really sometimes overwhelmed with the situation, or like really shy to do something. It's really important to say, okay, career is really, really long journey. So this moment in your life will actually not be that relevant in 2 years from now. So just take this opportunity. If you want it, just take it and don't regret it. And I would say also that going out of the comfort zone, so encourage to go out of the comfort zone, it's the moments when you learn the most. So I was changing the position. I was like a programmer, after in administration, after in sales, customer success, and right now back to the engineering. But the moments when I've learned the most, it was actually the moments when I was out of my comfort zone, and whatever it was, change the position or actually speaking at the conference, I really after was kind of, okay, now I've done it, I've learned it, and actually I feel good about it. So encouraging the people to go out of the comfort zone, especially ladies, is also really important, because I can see here more tendency of like not wanting to go out of the comfort zone from the female part. And last, and this is something like I was doing this exercise on one of the workshop, and it also really helped me to also realize by myself what is important for me. So when you close your eyes and you try the
Mhm.
timeline of your life, and
Okay,
then
let's do this. Let's do this.
let's do this. Yeah, you
Okay.
can do that on the
Mhm.
paper, and you can do that in the mind. And after you
Mhm.
pick like 5 or 10 points in your lifetime, that can be personal, that can be from your work, that were really memorable for you, that were really important for you, that were really impactful. Okay, so I will give you just 3 seconds to think about it.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now, how many from those points are work related? This is the first question.
Mm.
How many of those actually are related to the situation that you felt imposter syndrome or insecure? And how
Mm.
many from them were related to this conference or to this presentation to the exec that you were so scared about? Everybody needs to answer for himself for this question, but from my exercise, actually the time flies, and the things that we are really thinking that today is really important, after all, they are just gone, and the life flies. So just, I believe, encouraging the ladies is one of the point that we can do by our conversation, and like empowering them.
Wow, that was super exercise. And I have a daughter. She's almost 2 years old, so she's really young, and there is no doubts in her. She's so self-confident. She can, pave everywhere, every way she's, going. When this happens, that we start to doubt in ourselves, because as you mentioned, the workshop, the initiative that helps you work with imposter syndrome, it was the most important for you. This is something I cannot understand. When this happens, that we started to doubt in ourselves, when we start to doubt in our self-confidence, in our self, let's say, actualization, that we are able to do and manage to organize it in a way that we would like to. Seriously, I have no idea when this happens. Maybe maybe it is school, maybe friends. Dorota? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a son, so I perfectly understand you. When he was 2 or 3 years old, he was so self-confident, and now he's doubting so much in himself. So I think this is the first moment where when children start to doubt is when they learn how to live in the society, and they face different comments which are not always pleasant, and then they start asking questions if their self assessment is correct or not. So it starts on the very early stage, I think, and it's very difficult then to overcome those things, and it requires a lot of work on yourself to really start regain this self confidence. And I think we are never on the same level as we were as really little children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
would
will
say.
observe. Yeah. Yeah, please
No,
continue.
I would add to this. I have also a similar experience. I have also a son, and something that I can also realize, looking at also my sister children and my community kind of children. Uh, I believe the ladies, the girls, are more also evaluating not only on the actions, activities, knowledge, and so on, but also on how they look. And I believe this is also the problem because when you are growing in professional life, the only what matters actually should matters your competences and how you show up, how you are human to human. And even at the conferences and like in TV, you can always see, okay, like this, concierge, they were like great, but actually her dress was not that beautiful. So the evaluation of the how the ladies are looking, it's also after making impact on ourself, how we feel about ourselves. And I believe this is the difference because as a society, we really rarely judge the men's how they appear, and this is all the other way on the women. So we only not need to take care what we are saying, but how we are also saying, how we are looking, and how we are showing up. So maybe this is the moment when actually you realize at school also your body.
And ladies, you are our strong woman in IT. You are in this year report. You are one of 251 women, and you are now our ambassadors. And I believe that your experience, your knowledge, the way you do your work is a great inspiration, and you can be a true role model. And Dorota, when you think about yourself, how you are role models for others. And I know it's not about talking about being humble. I know it's not about being modest. No, it's not the moment for it. It's a webinar about woman for woman. So as you mentioned, you have your group at your company, and this is definitely part of it. But you are a role model. You are here not because of an accident, because you deserve it. So how you also are a role model for others.
Well, first of all, I would like to pay back what I got from life. So, strong women in my early years. And I'm very grateful that you can also be an example of a woman that succeeded in her career. Or I wouldn't like to talk about it in a past tense because I'm still having some plans for further development. But it's good to show other young women that yes, you can be successful in IT. It is a place for you. You can do it. Look, I'm able to be where I am, so can you. So that's my goal for bring the message that I want to bring to young women, especially those that are choosing their career path. So I'm engaging myself in some programs for young students that are there before entering the professional work, and want to show them that IT is a great place for women.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Isa, how you feel about being a role model? How you feel about being strong woman in IT?
Oh, actually, has Dorota has said so great words that I'm so aligned with. That is hard for me really add to something, and I totally agree with everything what Dorota was saying. So maybe on top of that, I believe just being yourself. So like role model is one point, and it's always hard to put ourselves in that kind of shoes, but being yourself and like just don't try to copy anybody and like show up yourself. Like if for example I love colorful dresses and like clothes, and I was never ashamed to show up in the meetings, even only with the men's in the dress, colorful dress, because it's like me and I want to show myself and I want to be myself. And just encouraging the people to being themselves, it's something really important. And like everybody has their own story and their own progress. So it's also important to get connected with the people and just making this connection. So I try also, if anybody asks, to make those connections with the different people, because getting the different models, for example, for the people manager, for your colleagues, for the different roles, it's also really important, because from that you are going to take what is best for you, and actually you are going to create your own story. And if anybody on the call who is listening to us would like to have a chat, I'm really open to have a chat one-on-one. We can schedule the time and just discuss whatever somebody would need help with.
Thank you. What I see that really works during our webinars is life hacks. So some ways you manage different situations in business, in your private life that our speakers are sharing. Like I am still a huge fan, for example, of block working. So when I do some work connected with writing, I just writing. When I do research, I'm just doing a research. When I do just public speaking, like presentation to public speaking, I just do this only in a blog, So this is a life hack for me, because this helps me to, let's say, narrow down my thoughts, the way I work, I plan my day. Dorota, when you think about your life hacks, because you mentioned that this is the time when you are super busy, you have so much work, and you're so excited about it. How you manage it? What's your life hack for balancing between your work, your private life, and yourself? Relaxing and feeling, let's say, rest.
Mhm. Okay, so let's start from work. For me, the best exercise every morning is to write down the most important things and start from the most difficult things, because when you do them, you feel like you really succeeded, and the rest of the day is getting just easier and easier. But setting up the priorities for the day, I think it's crucial. Otherwise, we can lose a lot of time on things that are not that urgent, and in the end we do not achieve what we want to achieve today. So that's regarding work. It's not easy to keep the work-life balance so in this busy time of the year. But I have some priorities that are very important for me. So first of all is my dear son, who requires my presence and requires my attention. So I really keep some time, even as a blocker in my calendar, when I want to be only for him, and no one is able to call me. Then it seems that I am on a meeting, and I am on a meeting with my son. So that's very important for me. And the other stuff, when I'm talking about taking care of myself, is sport. It helps me release the stress, release the tension, and it's also a position that is there in my calendar as as a very high priority thing to just go through this very difficult period in a year and deliver the success that the organization is expecting from me and my team.
Do you exercise every day or twice a week, let's say?
Twice, 3 times a week depends on the schedule. But yes, always at least once on the weekend, and twice during the weekdays. That's the optimum.
Yeah, you must be really fit. Isa,
I'm
tell us
trying
about
not
your.
to pH.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm super fan of sports, so definitely I support it, and I think that this is one of the best way to stress release, and the tension in your body. So Isa, your life hacks to manage to, some say work-life balance, some say work-life integration. It's mixing all the time. So how you manage to do all the things that you are doing?
Yeah, so for me, work-life balance doesn't mean that I'm 8 hours at work and I'm forgetting about it. Because actually, right now, I have truly distributed team. I'm part of the I'm individual contributor, but I'm part of the truly distributed team. And I have one person in United States, one in India. Our manager is from India, and one is from Malaysia. So you can see that it's really kind of spread across the world. And we are working in a very different hours, I would say, so very various hours. But what Dorota was also saying, I'm really calendar based, and this is helping to keep the commitments also to myself. I was in the past I'm very work oriented, I would say, person. So I really love my work, what I'm doing. I'm excited about the work that I'm doing. And without committing to myself, I was in the past doing some like, okay, finishing the task, 1 more 2 more hours. Actually, it was always prioritized. So what I started to do, I also started to put some blockers in my calendar, not only for the sports, for my son as well, but also for some hustle project that I'm doing. And then I know that actually compromising this time, it's going to cost this hustle project, the effects. So what I committed to myself from the side project, hustle project, it's actually something when I'm doing the work, like more, then I know that I'm compromising this commitment to myself. So like doing to myself the commitments and like trying to keep them, it's also something that works for me, and dedicating the time for this one. So it helps me a lot to keep this, balance and like verify what is important for me, and also to put the goals for myself. So for every year, um, I'm trying to not be that strict for myself, but like, putting some of the goals for this year. And there is always on the agenda more sports, more exercises. This one is the one actually that I've never do as I would wish, but it's something that really helps me to keep on the track when I'm too much focus oriented regarding to work, yeah, and like putting too much time on them. Okay, I want to achieve some other things. I want to be more present with my family. I want to spend more time with my friends and also with my gang. I was saying it also requires a little bit more planning and intentional time, because with some of them I'm not working every day, so I need to plan this time with them as well.
Yeah, Thursday, so tomorrow is, for example, my silent day, my deep work day. So I have no calls, no, only if I need, only if there are urgent matters, because I see that I need some day to think, to read, to analyze. So this is something that also works for me. We will be coming to the end. So Dorota, your final sentence, maybe your summary, maybe your lesson learned from your past. What would you like to left our audience with after this webinar?
Oh, I can always say, let's be true to ourselves. Let's stay who we are, and let's be bold and brave, and reach out for the things that we want to reach out for, that we are dreaming for.
Isa, what would you say?
Yeah, so like career, it's a long time journey. So take your opportunities when you can. Don't regret it when you can't, and like don't regret when you're failing. Just go forward, stand up, and just go forward. Learn from the mistakes the most that you can get from them, and just do your best and like enjoy the moment. I believe this is also really important, to enjoy the present, the moment that you are really in right now, and take the best of it.
Wow, that's super cool, inspiring. So, ladies, I believe that everyone interested in your work can link to you on LinkedIn. Yeah, you
Sure.
are present there. So, thank you all so much for being today with us. The next webinar will be really soon. It will be hosted by Gosia. So, thank you once again for this event, for this webinar, and let's meet online. Thank you.